There's a lot to enjoy about Martin Scorsese's movies. Maybe it's the characters.
Funny how? I mean, what's funny about it?
Maybe it's the stories he tells.
I gotta get in shape now. Too much sitting has ruined my body. Too much abuse has gone on for too long.
Or maybe it's just the violence. For me, the part that makes Scorsese movies so exciting and memorable is the directorial style that he puts into his films. There's a lot that goes into his films, so I'm going to try to break down what exactly makes his movies so stylistically interesting. One of the most noticeable elements of a Scorsese movie is how he uses music in his films. The songs that he chooses for his movies help set the tone of a scene and prime the audience for the emotions that they should be feeling. This stylistic choice is present even in Mean Streets, one of his earliest films. The film is almost like a prototype for Goodfellas, following a young man as he grows up in New York and becomes involved with the mafia. Scorsese wrote the movie about his experiences and what he saw growing up, so there's an element of dark nostalgia to the film, which makes the use of Ronette's "Be My Baby" so smart. It released in 1963, 10 years before the release of Mean Streets, and is a song that is very clearly rooted in the style of the past. This song is paired with visuals from old film stock which similarly evokes nostalgia for the past. The upbeat sound and implied nostalgia of the song oppose the actions in the film, mirroring the conflicted view of his childhood that Scorsese is trying to portray. While it is his childhood and he enjoyed it, the period was also dark. Similarly, this song is nostalgic and brings happy feelings, but everything that surrounds it is gritty and violent. This contrast between music choice and the actions in the film is used expertly in Goodfellas when Jimmy Conway decides to kill Maury. The song itself, Sunshine of Your Love, is calm and relaxed, just like Jimmy, which opposes the fact that Maury is going to be killed. Jimmy has already decided to kill Maury in this moment, and despite that is calm and collected. This song is a great way to characterize Jimmy Conway because it shows that even when doing something as evil as planning to kill someone, he has no concern or remorse. The calmness of the song also makes the violence more shocking because the song is happy and upbeat, while his death sees him swiftly executed in a car. This contrast between how a song makes the audience feel and how the audience is supposed to feel when seeing something is what makes Scorsese's use of music in movies so well done and memorable. Another key element to Scorsese's success is the way he uses the camera through space, as well as how he uses slow motion to make something more impactful. One of the most iconic types of Scorsese shots is when he has the camera move throughout a scene for an extended period of time without cutting. This is used really well in Raging Bull to put you in the mindset of boxer Jake LaMotta before his fight. In the film, Jake prioritizes boxing over everything, and you can see that as the camera follows Jake from the locker room into the ring. For most of the walk through the tunnel, the camera is facing towards Jake, showing how as he gets prepared for the fight, he's only focused on himself and his boxing. But once he reaches the opening into the crowd, the camera turns to focus on the boxing ring, which Jake uses throughout the film as a safe space from the emotions of life. As Jake gets into the ring, the camera moves up into the sky to make the scale of the fight seem even more grand. This shot is genius because it puts you right alongside Jake LaMotta just before his title fight. This film also showcases another aspect of Scorsese's style, his use of slow motion. Slow motion filming appears often in Scorsese movies to highlight what the camera is looking at, and it's used in a later fight to highlight the beating that Jake LaMotta receives. This fight is the last in the film and shows that even after Jake wins the boxing championship, he isn't satisfied, so in this final fight he is beaten ruthlessly. Slow motion is used before the round starts to show Jake being washed off and to prime the audience with dark liquid for the blood that will soon cover LaMotta. The entire pre-round ritual is slow motion to highlight how Jake is being prepared before he steps back into the ring with Sugar Ray Robinson, with the next instance of slow motion being Sugar Ray Robinson hammering Jake LaMotta while he refuses to defend himself. The use here is genius because throughout the entire film, Jake has been a dominating force in the ring, and now in this fight he's given up, so Scorsese highlights the preparation of Jake and the destruction of Jake to clearly communicate the impact of the fight and the end of Jake LaMotta's boxing career.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
One element present in Scorsese's films that isn't seen in many other films is how frequently Scorsese uses narration to tell stories. This technique allows Scorsese to build complex narratives while ensuring the audience knows what's happening, while also providing deeper insight into the mind of the characters in his films. Casino uses the first scene to establish one of the main conflicts of the film, the relationship between Sam and Ginger.
When you love someone, you've got to trust them. There's no other way. You've got to give them the key to everything that's yours. Otherwise, what's the point? And for a while, I believed that's the kind of love I had.
Throughout the rest of the film, the narration expands on this, providing voiceover from 3 characters, with each character's unique opinions adding complexity to the network of relationships between Sam, Nicky, and Ginger. Each character's narration gives a unique perspective to the turmoil of running the casino and allows you to see how different characters deal with the damage done on both a business and personal level.
Sure enough, an hour later, I get the call.
Ace, what happened over there? I mean, did you know that guy you threw out was with me?
This insight would be difficult to get with just one character's narration, and nearly impossible to achieve without directly hearing what any of the characters are feeling. Compared to Casino, Goodfellas uses narration in a way that is much more direct in the story of Henry Hill. The narration only ever gives Henry's thoughts on what's happening from his time before the mob through his eventual testimony against numerous gangsters. Only focusing on Henry's perspective allows the audience to see an individual's infatuation with a life of crime before he's in too deep and eventually becoming disillusioned as he testifies and enters witness protection to get away from it all. Just as Casino's narration shows differing perspectives on crime through multiple narrators, Goodfellas' narration shows differing perspectives on crime by having its main narrator change over time. Both films' use of narration is incredibly well done and adds a layer of complexity to these crime stories that makes the audience question the difference between how gangsters are portrayed and what their life is actually like. There are so many great elements to Scorsese's movies, but the way his specific directorial style is used makes these films stand out in my mind and do a lot to empower the great moments in the scripts. The characters, themes, and use of violence in Scorsese's movies wouldn't be as impactful if not backed up with a certain song, a slow motion shot, and voiceover from Robert De Niro explaining his thought process. Scorsese's movies are so great and they all show off his style in different ways, so let me know your favorite Scorsese movie in the comments and subscribe to get weekly videos about movies.